Well, thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor, first of all, for me to speak to you this morning about recent developments in my country and our future hopes regarding Euro-Atlantic integration. Konrad Adenauer Foundation, which is proud to bear the name of this, the first Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, whose principles are important guidelines of modern Germany. So I wish to warmly thank the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung for this timely initiative. I have long followed the impressive work of this foundation and promoting democracy in many parts of the world. I would also like to pay a tribute to Gerd Pottering, for your president and former president of the European Parliament, and Mr. Elmar Brok, distinguished chair of the Foreign Affairs Committee in the European Parliament. Thank you very much for organizing this. The relationship between Georgia and Germany is very close and long-standing. Germany supported Georgia's independence in 1918, and since we regained our independence in 1991, this country has once again been a key ally and friend to Georgia. Today, we greatly appreciate Germany's support and guidance in our quest for integration into the European and Euro-Atlantic integration institutions. And late today, while we have the opportunity to express these sentiments directly to Chancellor Angela Merkel, and to discuss with her how we can work together to fully strengthen the relations between our countries and between Georgia and the European Union and NATO. Dear friends, our region is currently facing a serious crisis. Recent developments in Eastern Ukraine and the Crimea have radically altered the security equilibrium in that region. But however, we all hope that the recent elections in Ukraine will lead to a period of stability and consolidation of democracy. As far as Georgia is concerned, we know that a stable and democratic state is our best security policy. But we also want Georgia to be anchored in the European and Euro-Atlantic institutions. There is a broad consensus in our country that this is the best policy orientation, compatible with our values, choices, and aspirations to democracy, peace and prosperity. We also believe that Georgia's further progress along the path of EU integration will help promote these values as well as peace and stability in the region. There are the two themes I wish to address today. Firstly, Georgia's reform process and our EU integration perspectives. And secondly, why I believe that support for Georgia's further European integration can help promote security in the eastern neighborhood. Very briefly about the reforms and EU integration. My country will mark a major landmark in that process by signing an association agreement including a deep and comprehensive free trade area
Unterzeichnung des
which will make European integration an integral part of our domestic policy. We have been working extremely hard over the last 2 years in order to qualify for this new level of deepened relations with the European Union. Upon taking office in 2012, my government began a major program of reforms, the success of which has been broadly recognized by our partners. A key milestone was the 2013 presidential elections, which was widely praised as free and fair, and it was really unprecedented, not only in Georgia, but also in the region. And we're looking forward to replicating this success at the municipal level on June 15th. We also reinforced constitutional reforms, and the primacy of Parliament was reinforced, as well as the separation, checks and balances of powers and their responsibilities. We have also decentralized power to regional and local representative bodies. And strengthening the independence of the judiciary is a key priority. And I think this was one of the main achievements of the new administration. While reforms and capacity building are still underway, we have made considerable progress according to international experts. And impunity has been a sensitive process, but the enforcement of equality before the law has greatly benefited Georgian democracy. A new national human rights strategy and action plan are key pieces of the democratic puzzle we are building. These legally binding documents outline concrete steps to bring the country's legal and institutional frameworks, as well as human rights culture and practice in line with the European standards by 2020. Just a few weeks ago, we also adopted a very important law, which is called anti-discrimination law, a law prohibiting and preventing all forms of discrimination. In addition to sweeping democratic reforms, we have made great progress to ensure a free and open economic environment. We have undertaken numerous reforms to further advance economic opportunities for both domestic and international businesses. We have also cracked down on elite corruption, and this was the main challenge of the previous administration. The World Bank ranks Georgia 8th worldwide for ease of doing business, and in the first quarter of this year, our economy grew by 7.4%. And we expect this to increase with the provisional entry into force of the DCFTA with the European Union. Thanks to our strategic location, the stability of the country, and our ongoing investment in infrastructure, Georgia is set to play an ever-growing role in international trade. We have achieved great progress in the healthcare system. We set a goal and promised our citizens that the state would take care and would not leave any of its citizens without medical service. And our government kept this promise and implemented the universal healthcare program for Georgian citizens, for all citizens, actually. And this reform made life easier for many people, removed the financial burden from them. One of the main desires is to strengthen the country's education policy. Our government has already provided 650,000 students with textbooks free of charge. Furthermore, an international center for education was launched 2 weeks ago that would accumulate all kinds of financial resources, including the funds of international donor organizations, for issuing scholarships to Georgian students to allow them to receive education abroad in the best universities. In short, Georgia is reforming fast. This process will further accelerate with the implementation of the association agreement and the CFTA, which will closely align our legislation and standards with those of the European Union. We have already made significant progress in implementing the Visa Liberalization Action Plan at a legislative stage, and we hope that in the near future, Georgia will move forward into second stage of the VLAP. Progress on mobility is one of the most crucial issues in the European integration process for ordinary citizens of Georgia, which brings immediate tangible benefits. We perfectly know that we will have to redouble our reform efforts in order to make the most of the opportunities the association agreement offers. And I assume that that this is a top priority of my government. Now, as for the regional security, thanks to this reform process, we have proven ourselves a stable and reliable democratic partner for Germany, for the European Union, and NATO. And our aim is to be a constructive player in regional security and active contributors to international security. We have demonstrated our capacity to play this role by our long-standing contribution to NATO's forces in Afghanistan, where Georgia is the largest non-NATO troop contributor. Our country is also supplying one of the largest troop contingents to the European Union mission to the Central African Republic. And we also seek to take a constructive approach towards Russia and actively support international efforts for the peaceful resolution of regional tensions. We made a number of constructive steps in order to de-escalate the tension with Russia since we came into power in 2012. We appointed the Prime Minister's personal representative for Russian relations, who is working with his counterpart, Deputy Foreign Minister. And all these efforts were aimed at de-escalate the tension and to normalize relationship with Russia. And I think we did it quite well. Russia also gradually opened its market for Georgian products. Although we were facing a number of difficulties and provocations along the occupation line, while they were installing the barbed wire fences, and many citizens were detained for several days, taken to Tskhin Valley. But we demonstrated that our government is a constructive, predictable government who wants to normalize relationship with its neighboring countries. And but Georgia's foreign policy prior to integration into the European and Euro-Atlantic institutions is a sovereign choice and not aimed against any of our neighbors. This is our choice. This is the choice of the Georgian people. And I think this should not conflict with our constructive policy toward Russia. We offer an opportunity to demonstrate the success of the European Union's Eastern Partnership Initiative and deliver a powerful message that democracy, a value-based partnership, and integration with the Euro-Atlantic community can be successful in our neighborhood. And Georgia can be a model country. Georgia can be a perfect example. We welcome the recent shows of support within the European Union for Georgia's long-term membership perspective. And we also very much look forward to the upcoming summit in NATO summit in Wales. Now, I will conclude. Over the past 20 years, our country has grown tremendously as a young and vibrant democracy. We appreciate the resounding support from Germany and the European Union as we have pushed through comprehensive reforms to strengthen our country's democratic values and economic freedom. Our commitment to aligning more closely with European institutions goes hand in hand with our commitment to continued democratic transformation. Increased Euro-Atlantic and European integration is our way of returning to the family of European nations. This is how we see this process, and with whom we share our history, culture, and more importantly, values. So Georgia's successful European integration will not only benefit my country, but it will also bring greater stability and security in the region, in the entire region. And this year, the European Union celebrates 10 years of the Eastern enlargement. We have all witnessed the tremendous benefits this remarkable project brought, both for the new member states, their peoples and economies, which have seen vibrant growth. We just heard an example of Poland, and the old member states as well. It has led to a wider and unprecedentedly diverse single market with important new trade and investment opportunities. It has led to a more competitive and creative Europe. And from a broader perspective, it reminded Europeans of the humanistic mission of the Union, spreading peace and democracy across the continent and beyond. So my country shares this vision, and we are convinced that we can also contribute to the continued success of the European project. Georgia's European integration is its historical destiny. Furthermore, my country is a strategically located transportation and energy hub, without exaggeration, and its integration into the Euro-Atlantic space will provide a long-term political and economic advantages to all our partners. The question is how far and how fast we can go. Last week, the citizens of the European Union went to the polls to express their opinions about the future of Europe. And lastly, it is my hope that one day the people of Georgia may also take part in this great democratic exercise. Thank you very much for your attention.